Okay. Uh,
We have to vote.
Any
to-
discussion?
Okay, good.
No. Guess all that agree, say aye.
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 Do we have,
Looks like
Other
Aaron
members of
is
the board here?
muted. Looks like Aaron is muted.
okay, so any nays? So I will be the chairman. All right. All right, so we're gonna we have a couple things to go over this morning. First of all, we want to start the recording.
All set.
All set with that? Okay. Good morning. This is a contested hearing being held by the Department of Consumer Protection and the Plumbing and Piping Works Board. We were going to start with, just get this.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry if I could just jump in here. I'm just
Yeah.
noticing, just so that you can read the script and have it make sense. I just noticed that we only have 2 of the 4 respondents, I believe. We have Mr. Kelleher in and Mr. Jazirni. And if there's anyone else here, oh, I think someone else just
Yes.
is trying to get in.
Someone just called in through their phone.
Right. Can we confirm who that is?
Yes. Hi, whoever just called in under the 860 number, can I ask who this is? You are on mute.
To unmute on the phone, you hit *6.
Perfect. It looks like whoever that is on mute now. Whoever just called in under the 860 number, can I ask who this is? The number ends in 64. Yeah, they're not muted.
It's Brian Nemchek.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have 3 of the 4 respondents. So if you would like, Mr. Penber, you could read in the 3 names. It would be Jonathan Kelleher, Brian Nemsick, and so far we have Todd Jazirni online also. I don't see the 4th, Mr. Covino, in. So if
Okay.
you wanted to read that in, and then we can go.
Yeah, so the respondents, the names are Todd Zaneri,
Jazirni.
and then we have John Kelleher, and we have I don't have in front of me
Brian
Yeah.
Nemsick.
Brian Nipkin.
Right, Brian Nemsick, right,
Nemsick.
right.
Okay. So in there, it also says a state case number. Do you have
Right.
the case numbers? Is it?
Sure, I can state them for the record if that, just makes it easier. Jonathan Kelleher would be 2019-14-44. Mr. Jazirni would be 2019-14-43. And Brian Nemsick is 2019-14-91.
Okay. So my name is Carlton Pember. I'm a member of the plumbing board, and I'm acting as the chairman because Chuck Appleby is out of town. I will be designated as presiding officer of this matter. For the record, I will ask the board members who are participating in this matter to identify themselves in alphabetical order, if we can do that.
Peter Alfieri, licensed member.
Aaron Nakbar, contract member.
Melissa Sheffy, public member.
Okay, so that's it. So, and I make 4. So that would be the quorum. And it's Carlton Pember, contractor member, and sitting in as chairman. So do you have an order, Cynthia, do you have an order that you want to start?
So we have to first, you would have to first read through this entire script. The shaded areas that are in gray, you would only have to read if they're applicable.
Okay,
And we would end up where, on the last page where we swear everyone in and commence the hearing.
okay.
Yeah.
So again, it says it's alleged that, and then it's blank with the has violation provisions. So do I name all 3 again?
No, it's okay. We went through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the record, the hearing is starting at 9:07 a.m. on February 2nd, 2023 via Microsoft Office Teams video conferencing platform. The purpose of today's hearing is to provide the opportunity to present evidence on a matter raised in the complaint. The burden of proof is on the department to prove their case by preponderance and evidence, which means more likely than not, the response violated the law alleged by the department. Evidence may be admitted either by oral testimony or by documents, and the strict rules of evidence as applied in the court of law are not applicable here. There are great latitude in the allowance of evidence in the administrative hearing. However, testimony will be under oath, and the rules of evidence as set forth by the Uniform Administrative Procedures Act for administrative hearings that will apply. The proceeding today will follow this format. Both parties will be permitted time to present a short opening statement, starting with counsel for the Department of Consumer Protection. After a brief opening statement, the parties may call as a witness any person present here today who is, excuse me, to testify. Please focus on the facts that the board shall have in order to render a fair decision. There will be an opportunity at the end of the hearing for each side to present closing arguments on why it feels its position should be upheld according to the facts that have been presented. All parties have the opportunity to cross-examine each witness presented by other party. Presented its case, the other party feels it's necessary to call further witnesses, they may do so. The procedure is followed until all sides are satisfied that the facts presented in each are fully and fairly presented and the factual record is complete. Documents may be admitted in evidence either by agreement of parties, subject to the board's review as relevant and material, or through the testimony of competent witnesses. Documents submitted in advance are not considered entered into the record until one of the parties introduces the exhibit on the recording during the hearing. Exhibits have not been reviewed or considered by the board in advance of this hearing. Are there any questions? Okay, before we start, please note the following protocols for this hearing. Please speak clearly and one at a time as the hearing is being recorded. Please keep your video cameras on throughout the hearing. Participants shall not participate in the hearing while driving. Participants shall keep their microphones on mute when they are not speaking and state their name when they begin to speak. If participants leave their microphone on, someone else is speaking, we may place the participant on mute. Please do everything possible to reduce any background noise that is around you. Please do not disclose confidential information during the hearing unless it's specifically requested or necessary to put on your case. This hearing is recorded and available for public viewing. Many of the public will not have the opportunity to speak, or excuse me, members of the public will not have an opportunity to speak during this hearing. This is an administrative hearing. The public may attend but must remain muted. Exhibits that were sent in prior to the hearing will not be considered unless they are entered into the hearing. To enter the exhibit, summary party must reference the document and inform the board that they're entering it into exhibit into the record. If you have technical issues, the hearing, please call 860-840-2075. Your conference ID is 912-729-02, or email dcp@helpdesk@ct.gov. Do you need me to repeat any of this information? Okay. I now request that everyone present who is going to participate, everyone who is in the party and inverted a witness, a counsel, please state or spell out your legal name for the record, including what your position in the hearing is. Also, please state your mailing address so that we may confirm your identity. We will start with the respondent. The respondent represented by counsel. If so, please introduce yourself. Are there any witnesses present for the respondent? Okay, respondent, please list the names of the witnesses present. So we don't, complaint counsel, please identify yourself.
Cynthia Fernandez, staff attorney for Department of Consumer Protection, 450 Columbus Boulevard in Hartford.
Are there any witnesses present for the department?
Right, Ms. Lehman, if she could please introduce herself. You're on mute.
It's Karen Lehman. Do I need to spell it out, or do I
Sure,
need to
you
spell
can.
out my name? Or
You
is-
can.
Yes.
I was reading the instructions. So it's Karen Lehman, KarenLayman, license and application specialist for DCP, 450 Columbus Boulevard in Hartford.
Okay.
So at this point, Mr. Pember, I'm sorry, is it Pemberton or Pember?
No,
I can't
Pember.
see your-
Amber.
Pember, sorry. If the respondents would have to identify themselves for the record and provide their name and address.
Okay. We can start with John.
Jonathan Kelleher, JONATHAN, KELLIHER. Address is 30 Deepwood Drive, Waterbury, Connecticut.
Okay. Todd.
Todd Gizzarni, 18 Seacrest Road, Old Saybrook, Connecticut, 06475.
Can you spell your name?
Todd, TODD, JEZZARNI. IERNY.
And then we have Brian.
Brian Nemchek, BRIAN NEMCIK, 801 Torrance East Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790.
Are you capable of having camera on?
I called in. I couldn't get it onto Teams.
So how do we work that, Cynthia, if we can't see him?
In the past, we've let them participate by telephone if they're unable to participate by camera.
Okay, and we don't have the capability for, like, Todd, are you on your phone?
Yes.
See, Todd's on his phone, so,
Well, right, but I don't know if you can see his image. He's up on screen.
Todd is up on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's using
But
an app. and-
Brian is not, and he's called in also. My question is it possible for him to be on video?
Well, he'd have to be on the app rather than dialed in.
Okay, so Cynthia, you're okay with that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And nobody else is here? Our third person is not here? Or fourth person is not here?
Not as far as I'm aware, Jennifer, no one else has dialed in, correct?
Nope, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask each party, you'll provide testimony today to raise your right hand so I can administer the oath. After I've read the oath, each person testifying must affirm by stating, "I do." Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you are about to give concerning the case now in question shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God, or upon penalty and perjury, I will now call on each person to affirm the oath. Brian,
I do.
Todd,
I do.
and John.
I do.
And sorry, Ms. Lehman also has to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do. I do.
And Ms. Lehman, you said I do.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, and that now take evidence on the complaints in question. Do the parties wish to make an opening statement? So Cynthia, can I turn this over to you so that you can ask which person you want to talk with first?
Right, and I waive any opening statement. I think to make this the most efficient, we can start with Mr. Jazirny since he's a reinstatement, and those tend to be a quicker hearing. So to give some background, Mr. Jazirny is requesting reinstatement pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 20-334C. Reinstatement is within the board's discretion. The department doesn't hold a position on whether or not a licensee is reinstated. But I will submit one document as an exhibit. Jennifer, if you could please pull up exhibit 1 for Mr. Jazirny. Okay, good, thanks. So I'll ask Ms. Lehman as my witness to just please identify this document if you could, please.
Yeah, this is the petition for reinstatement dated January 11th, 2023, sent by the department.
Right. And if we could just scroll down to the next page, Jennifer. And Ms. Lehman, if you could just please identify this following document.
This is a final decision and order dated November 29th, 2021.
And if we could scroll down, Jennifer, just to, I'll let you know when to stop. I think it's the 3rd page. Right, we can go down. Okay, you can stop there. I just wanted to provide the date of the decision when it was signed off on, Ms. Lehman, if you could just please read that into the record.
November 10th, 2021.
Okay. And so I'll offer this DCP-1 exhibit as a full exhibit for Mr. Jazirni, just as evidence of the final decision that revoked his license that he is now requesting to be reinstated. So, Mr. Pember, you would either accept on the record the exhibit or reject it.
I'll accept the exhibit. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it for my side. Mr. Jazirni is able to present his side of the case and why he's requesting reinstatement.
I'm requesting reinstatement because this is my livelihood. I know it was sent to the wrong address and it was never forwarded to my address, my recent address. That could be my negligence, but requesting that my license be reinstated. I did pay the fine for that, and I just want to go get this behind me and move on, and hopefully be able to get my license back.
Mr. Jazirni, really quickly, you did comply with the decision and pay the $750. What is
Yes.
your current address? Because in the system, we still have a Milford address.
It's 18 Seacrest Road in Old Saybrook, 06475.
Okay, great, thank you.
I don't know why it didn't get forwarded to my new address, and that's probably why I never saw that. And I've been trying for a little bit to get this reinstated, and it took a little longer, but I really want to get this, reinstatement.
So I have no further questions for Mr. Jazirni or Ms. Lehman. If the board has any questions for Mr. Jazirni, that's it's open to that.
Does the board have any questions?
Yes, the board has a question. Mr. Jazirni, you are current on your continuing education?
No, I'm not. Not since the fine, no. I believe that was 2017, no.
You have you been able to enroll in a course that would get you current on your continuing education?
I could, yes.
I don't know how the board can reinstate you if you're not current.
Okay.
I'm not sure. That would be a question for Cynthia. I understand.
Right,
you've paid
so
the fine.
I'm sorry, I can respond to that. So
Yeah.
in the past, we've also had someone request reinstatement that wasn't yet current. So the board is able to place a condition on the reinstatement so that if they submit evidence of becoming current, they're able to be within a certain time frame. They're able to be reinstated as long as they comply with the board's decision today. If that's, it doesn't have to be an immediate reinstatement. In other words.
Okay. So a reasonable amount of time to the board, would the reasonable amount of time be 1 year to allow Mr. Jazirni to complete his continuing education? Is that a feasible task in this current status of available courses? Do you think you can do that, Mr. Jazirni?
Oh,
Can you
yes,
get that
yes, of
year?
course I can. Yes, yes. I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm sorry. Yes,
Well,
I
I
would be more than happy to.
It was a general
Take the
question because I don't know what's available for back courses going back.
Okay, so you're saying I would have to go back to the year 2019 or 2021?
You need to complete what's missing from your record for continuing
Okay.
education. And I think you'll
Okay.
have to speak to the education provider. And maybe
Okay.
someone else on the board here is more fluent with this than I am. But I'm in favor of reinstating you as long as you complete the missing components of your continuing education.
I'll be more than happy to do that.
I have a question. So you understand that your current address has to be on file with the DCP at all times.
Yes.
So that seems-
When I paid the fine, I put my new current address on that.
So Cynthia, can you explain to him how he actually updates his address?
Right, the address would have to be updated in the system, do you sign into the system or did you send in a check?
No, I signed into the system and paid online.
Right, because as far as when I saw your address, it was not current, it was still the Milford address. And Ms. Lehman, can you go into e-license? Are you in e-license at this point? And just
Yes, I
confirm the
am.
address?
It's still in there as the Milford address.
Right,
Okay.
right,
It
so I
should be
can
my
send
current
you,
address, yes.
we can send you a link after the hearing is over to make sure you get into the right area and update your address there.
Okay,
But
that would be
that
fine.
would be a part, right?
Going back to Melissa, can you just re-ask that question that you just asked?
So my question was, are you aware that you have to have a current address on file? And it sounds like we've worked through
Yes, I
that
do.
because. Okay, so I back to Aaron's comment, I'm still not sure why you weren't just keeping up with your continuing ed anyway. And it's been years.
Yes, I agree. That's my fault. That was my
So have you been
negligence,
working
yes.
as a plumber?
No, not now.
Okay. So you can't work until you're actually licensed again. You understand
I
that?
understand. Yes, I do.
Okay, I don't have anything further.
Like to make a motion that we allow reinstatement for Mr. Jazzini with the condition of he resolve his, sorry?
Mr.
Aaron,
Pember,
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Joe?
This is Pete Alfieri, a licensed member. I have a question for Karen. Karen, is this the only CEU he's missing is 2017? I'm not following it too well on my 20, or is he missing all the other CEUs right up to date?
Well, I believe that he stated, I don't know the answer to that, but I believe that he stated he hasn't taken any since the license has expired, right? Or since the license was revoked. And it was revoked in 19.
I
So
read
I
it
would
as,
assume he hasn't taken any since then.
I read it as 17 being missing, but I might be misunderstanding it.
I can clarify that. So the license was revoked in 2022. I think it lapsed in 2019. But either way, the decision itself that this audit is based on was looking at the 2017 cycle. So that's what was missing. The $750 civil penalty that he paid after the decision took care of pretty much, it penalized him for not having that cycle. So what would be left is what's outstanding after the 2017 that he already paid the civil penalty for. See what I mean? So
After we
19,
approve him to get reinstated and he takes 2017, then he still owes what, 2019 and 2021, something like that?
he would only
Yes.
owe he would only owe 19 and 21. He wouldn't still owe 2017 because he paid the civil penalty for not taking it. So that's taken care of almost by not having taken the class on time. And the decision that I just submitted didn't require him to also make up the 2017. It just required the civil penalty.
I understand. I just want to make him aware that he's still going to owe, even though he gets approved today.
Mhm.
And I'm not against approving him. I'm not saying that. I just want him to understand he's still going to owe back CEUs to catch him up.
I understand that.
Right.
Okay.
This is Chip. Cynthia, are there penalties for that?
There can be, that's a separate issue of enforcement on our side, so that if he were to, and actually, that's something that the board could take up now. But I'm not sure exactly what we would do about that, because that's a separate enforcement issue. Can't really penalize him on that without a separate opportunity for a hearing and, a decision to impose a penalty or not.
I'm not sure how we could penalize him if his license was revoked. He didn't have a license at that time. So I think
Yeah.
he has paid a penalty for the 17. I think the point has been made. And as a condition of his reinstatement of his license, he needs to catch up on his continuing ed for that missing time period, or he'd have to sit for the license again.
Right.
So I think catching up, if we give him a year to catch up on his continuing ed, it sounds like it would be fair. What do you think, Pete?
I agree, Aaron. I'll second that motion.
I'd like to make a motion that the board approve Mr. Giuserni's reinstatement with the condition that he complete continuing education to the satisfaction of the Department of Consumer Protection for his license, for his missed license periods.
I'll second that.
Any?
Just for clarification.
Go ahead.
For clarification in the minutes, is the reinstatement immediate and he has a year to do CE, or does the reinstatement occur once the CE is completed?
Reinstatement is, Cynthia, is immediate, correct?
No.
Once the paperwork is done.
Once he puts in the back CEs, then he could be reinstatement, and he would have to submit those certificates and submit them straight to me. I keep track of these cases, but you could submit them, take a picture of them, send them to me by email, and I can take care of the reinstatement on my side. And then, it would be a matter of paying back fees or, late fees on renewal or whatever would be outstanding at that point. But it wouldn't be a reinstatement after this hearing. It would be reinstatement after those CEs are done, then be taken care of.
So he cannot work as a plumber until his CEUs are reported and the license is re-engaged.
Right, exactly.
Got it. Thank you.
Any further questions or
For a discussion item, I would just like to say, Mr. Giuserni, you're not going to want to come back in front of this plumbing board for any other issues. I myself would be an advocate for the maximum fine if you do.
I understand.
And just to clarify for Mr. Giuserni, you'll receive a written decision as soon as maybe a couple weeks. And, you can start working on those CEs ASAP.
Okay, I will.
But the decision will be written and you'll receive a final confirmation of that decision also.
Understand. Thank you.
okay, so can we have a vote?
Call the question?
Yes.
That would be you, Carl.
Yeah, can we call this question and have a vote on whether I guess everybody's here, right? So the show of hands of if it's yes,
Aye.
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Opposed? Okay. So we will, Cynthia, we will reinstate based on him getting his continuing ed finished and you receiving it, and then you'll let the board know when that happens, I guess.
Yes, correct.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So Cynthia, you're going to send me the email and then I'll look into getting the continuing ed finished.
Exactly right.
Okay.
You can start looking into the CEs now, and then you'll receive the decision anyway.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
We're all set here then? Thank you very much.
Okay, Cynthia, you can call the next person.
So I think Mr. Kelleher would make more sense to bring next. He's requesting a reconsideration of his decision in the CE cases. I have one exhibit for him. Jennifer, if you could pull up exhibit 1 for Mr. Kelleher also. Okay, good, thanks. So I'll call Ms. Lehman again as my witness. If you could please identify this document, please.
This is a petition for reinstatement dated January 11th, 2023 by the department.
And if we could scroll down to the following page. So if you could just please identify the document we're looking at now.
It's a proposed final decision in order for this case.
And if we could go down, Jennifer, to the last page of the decision, it'll say proposed final order. Okay, right here. Ms. Lehman, if you could just please, sorry, the print is so small on the screen. Can you see that? Yeah, okay, great, thanks. If you could just read into the record where it starts, it is hereby ordered, and you can stop at final decision and order, like the first sentence of that.
It is hereby ordered that pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes, Section 20-341B, the respondent shall pay a civil penalty of $1,000 due within 30 days of the date the Commissioner of the Department of Consumer Protection issues her final decision in order.
And if you could just read in Section B also.
It is hereby further ordered that pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes, Sections 20-334D and 20-335, the respondent shall pay the outstanding civil penalty in the amount of $250 according to the same terms set forth in the order above.
And if we can scroll down to sections C and D. And if you could just read those into the record too, please.
It is hereby further ordered that pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes, Sections 20-334D and 20-335, the respondent shall complete his outstanding continuing education requirements for both the 2017 and 2019 education cycles. And D, it is hereby finally ordered that the credential shall be reinstated upon paying all outstanding late fees and completing the requirements as set forth in the orders above.
And if you could just read off the date where that was issued.
Yeah, May 3rd of 2022.
Okay, great, thank you. I'd like to offer this DCP one for Mr. Kelleher as a full exhibit.
That it's accepted.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a little different from a reinstatement just because this decision has not been implemented because Mr. Kelleher requested a reconsideration in a timely manner of this decision. So it's kind of in suspension until the board decides, after hearing Mr. Kelleher's position, whether or not to enforce this decision and go forward and have him comply with this order, or to reconsider that decision and change it. So, Mr. Kelleher, this is your opportunity to present your side of why you're requesting a reconsideration.
Could we just lower that fine a little bit? We'll pay like the $250. I can't do $1,000. That's all I'm asking.
Have you completed the CEs that were outstanding also?
Yeah, I did the 2017. That was all I was supposed to do. I don't, this is the first time I'm seeing the 2019 though.
Did you
This
receive
all
the
started
decision?
for the 2017.
Right, but you're requesting a reconsideration of this decision that includes 2017 and 2019.
Yeah, I did the 2017. I guess I'm gonna have to do the 2019 too now.
You would have had
I
to
don't
do
know
that
why.
anyway you would have had to do those anyway as a condition of your license, so.
Yeah, I understand that.
So, sure. It's up to the board at this point. I have no further questions.
Board, do we have any questions?
Questions, I would have given this some consideration if you had come forward to this meeting with your continuing ed up to date. You're still not in compliance to have your license.
This is the first
Right?
time I'm seeing this 2019 though. This all started like, I don't know, last year or the year before, requests for the 2017. I did the 2017 and now I'm hearing this 2019 now. I was already up to date with all these, except the 2017. I didn't do that one. And I
wasn't the first. Okay. The first form that was put up on the screen in evidence that I thought I saw 2017 and 2019 reported together. Am I mistaken?
That's correct.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sorry, the order ordered compliance with the 2017 and 2019 CE cycles.
Okay.
That was together on one form when you were first notified, correct?
Yeah, the paperwork didn't change.
I guess I'm gonna have to do. I guess also.
I would respectfully suggest that you complete your continuing education up to date and pay the fine. And if you want to come back to the board when you have completed your continuing education, we'll review the fine. But currently, we can't do anything about that. You're still in non-compliance.
Like I said, when all this started, it was just 2017.
No, it wasn't. It was just 2017 and
But it's
2019.
I'll find all the paperwork and then we'll.
So if I could just,
I'd like to make a motion. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Cynthia, you had a question?
No, I just don't, I'm trying to clarify Mr. Kelleher's position because like I said, and everyone knows, the CE is a condition of the license regardless. So when this all started, is correct. This started in 2019, which is why it was based on the 2017 cycle. But the CEs are a condition of the license regardless of whether or not there's a hearing or a decision or an audit. So I'm not sure what the confusion is based on.
Okay. Peter, did you have something else?
My question is, Mr. Kelleher, are you?
Yeah. Chip,
Have you
I'd like to
taken
make a motion
2020?
to deny.
I'm sorry, Peter, what?
I can't hear.
I said, I'd like to make, Chip, I'd like to make a motion to deny until the CEUs are up to date. And then we could come back and discuss the fines, like Aaron had mentioned. He's got that on the,
Okay, do we have a second?
I'd like to second Peter's.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So I'm sorry, just to make this super clear for the record for everyone and for Mr. Kelleher, this if we're not going to, if the board is not going to reconsider this decision, then it will stand. And the decision already states that once he complies with the fine and the outstanding CEUs, he would be able to reinstate. So he wouldn't have to come back before the board if he complies with the decision. So
Correct.
that makes it simpler.
Okay, that's simple.
Yep.
So
I'd
if I
also like
pay
to
the
clarify-
$1,000,
I'd also like to clarify that current also includes 2021. Current is current, and that's a requirement of your license, sir.
Right,
That's right. Good point, Melissa.
that's right.
But, so Cynthia, to be clear, we're not addressing the fine reduction, right?
I believe the board decided not to,
Right,
correct?
correct.
Thank you.
until that's taken care of, the CEUs are taken care of?
Well,
Welcome to come back to us once your CEUs are caught up, and then we'll consider that.
Okay,
I'm just not sure.
In my opinion, at this point, you're not in a position.
I'm sorry, I don't think procedurally, there would be standing to do that. Since he's requesting reconsideration of this specific decision and that specific order. So that if you're now denying that reconsideration, then he has to comply with that decision. I don't think we can pick and choose which one he has to comply to and which one not, you know what I mean? So the decision right now includes the fines and catching up on the CEs. And if the board is going to deny the reconsideration, then this decision stands and it has to be complied with.
I think that's what we voted on, and I think he needs to.
That's what we voted on. Yep.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I
All
agree.
right, perfect. Just to be clear.
We voted on.
All right, I have nothing further from Mr. Kelleher, but you will receive a decision in writing, just to put this completely clearly.
all right.
Okay, so Cynthia, we will move to the next person.
Okay, perfect. So, Mr. Nemsek.
Good morning.
Hi, you can hear me okay?
No problem.
Okay, so I'll just have a few questions for Mr. Nemsek, and then I'll probably have a couple questions for Ms. Lehman. So, Mr. Nemsek, do you currently hold a license issued by DCP?
No,
Is your plumbing license active?
no,
And are you caught up with your 2016 and 17, or the cycle of 2016, 17 CEs?
I did take a course like it was asked to. The date on the course though is dated to 2021 because this was going on. This is going on for a lot of years, and the date on the course was October 2nd, 2021. I took a CEU for 8 hours. I have not held a plumbing license since 2000 September 30th, 2019.
Okay, have you paid the outstanding $250 late fee for not complying with the CE cycle?
I did not get any notification on that $250.
All right,
I'd be happy to pay that, but I do not have anything. I never received a bill or a way to pay that.
can you confirm your address?
Yep, it's 801 Torringford East Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790.
Okay, at this point, I don't have anything further for Mr. Nemsek, but I do have questions for Ms. Lehman. Jennifer, if we could bring up Exhibit 1 for Mr. Nemsek, please. Okay, Ms. Lehman, if you could just identify the date and type of document this is.
I can't see it, sir, ma'am.
I'm sorry,
Brian,
I'm sorry, this is for, the question is for Ms. Lehman.
It is January 2nd, dated January 22nd, 2019, a continuing education warning letter
And it's addressed to who and where?
to Brian Nemsick, and it is addressed to 801 Torringford East Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790-4281.
Okay, great. If we could scroll down. One second. Okay, if we could scroll down to keep going, I'll let you know when to stop. Stop there. Okay, you can keep going. Keep going. I believe it's the next page. Okay. Ms. Lehman, if you could just please identify this document also and where it's addressed.
This is an assurance of voluntary compliance. It's addressed to Brian Nemsick, 801 Torringford East Street, Torrington, Connecticut, 06790-4281.
And if we could just scroll down to the bottom of the same page under orders, Ms. Lehman, right here. If you could just read off that section with A and B included.
Yep. Respondents shall deliver the following electronically to DCP at dcp.auc.audit, that's OCCAUDIT at ct.gov by 7/5/2020. A, an original of this AVC signed by the respondent. B, electronic payment in the amount of $250 made online at https elicense.ct.gov, and a certificate of completion from a course satisfying the 4 hours required for the 1 year period ending September 30th, 2017. Please note that, did you want me to stop?
It's okay, you can stop there, thank you.
Okay.
Right, and Jennifer, if we could scroll down to the next document, I believe it starts with second notice of compliance meeting. Right, okay. Ms. Lehman, if you could just read in, if you could scroll right back up just so we can see the date on that document. Jennifer, please. Right, okay. Ms. Lehman, if you could just read in the date and what this document is.
7/24/2020, and it's a second notice of compliance meeting.
And when was that scheduled for? In the
And it was,
paragraph?
yeah, it was scheduled for, well, it says August 25th or 26th, 2020, between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Okay, if we can just go down to the next document. If you could just read off, Ms. Lehman, when this would have been sent and by whom?
This is an email from Paula Annan from the legal division of DCP, and it's dated Tuesday, May 4th, 2021.
Okay, and if you could just read off after Mr. Nemsick.
Yep, I have attached a notice and complaint and remote hearing instructions in the above caption matter. This case is about your non-compliance with the 2017 continuing education requirement. A certified copy of this letter was mailed this week. If you are interested in settling this matter, please let me know by email. Sincerely, Paula Annan.
Great. And if we can just go down one more time to the final document, just identify what the date actually and what it is.
May 3rd, 2021, and it is a notice of hearing and complaint regarding your failure to comply with the CEU continuing education requirements.
And I'll offer this document as a full exhibit, exhibit 1.
Okay, we accept that. Thank you.
And if we could just pull up. I'm sorry, stay in this document. I believe there's one last page. Okay, I'm sorry. If we could go down to the last page in this document, just to complete. Okay. So Ms. Lehman, can you identify what this document is?
It's from the local 777 and I apologize. It looks like it's a sort of, it looks like it's a certificate from a P1, P2 continuing education class.
Is
Just
it-
because I'm
is
not
it a-
seeing the whole document.
Yeah, if we could scroll down, please. Right. Now, is this a certificate for attending a class or is it a receipt for signing up for a class?
It looks like a receipt signing up for it. Yeah, I didn't think it was a certificate. So it must be a receipt.
Okay. Does this indicate anywhere on this document that it's an actual CE completion certificate?
No, it is not a CE completion certificate. Now that I've seen the whole thing, no.
Okay, great, thank you. So that's exhibit 1. Thank you for accepting that. And if we could just pull up exhibit 2. And Ms. Lehman, if you could just identify this document.
It is dated January 11th, 2023, and it is a notice of hearing and complaint regarding your failure to comply.
And if we could please, wait 1 second. Actually, if we could go down to the 3rd page of this document where it's paragraph 9 and it starts off as prayer for relief. All right, perfect. Ms. Lehman, if you could read in just so that the board is clear on what the prayer for relief is for this particular hearing.
Okay. Prayer for relief. The department requests that the plumbing and piping work examining board, upon a finding that the respondent is guilty of the violation in paragraph 8 above, order that A, pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes, Section 241, 20-341B, the respondent pay a civil penalty within 30 days of the final decision and order in an amount of not more than $1,000 for a violation of Connecticut General Statutes, Section 20-334D and its regulation. Such penalties shall be paid online at elicense.ct.gov for deposit into the Consumer Protection Enforcement Fund in accordance with Section 21A-8A of the Connecticut General Statutes. Did you want me to read B also?
Yes, please. Yes.
Pursuant to the Connecticut General Statutes, Section 21A-7A7, if the respondent fails to pay the civil penalty ordered in paragraph A above, respondent's license shall be suspended for 90 days or until such time that the respondent pays a civil penalty. And C, the respondent's license shall be revoked if by the end of the 90-day suspension period in paragraph B, she fails to pay the civil penalty. Respondent shall appear before the board to request reinstatement of his or her license.
Great, thank you. And if we could just scroll down, I believe it's just more notice documents. You can keep going, Jennifer. And I'm sorry, Ms. Lehman, if you could just identify what this document would be.
This is the online video hearing instructions for respondents and witnesses.
Okay. All right, and if we can go down to, I believe the last page would be sufficient. Right. A little more.
The last
can go
page
down.
down or up? Sorry.
The last page of the entire document, I believe, was,
That's this.
no, you can keep going down. Right, okay, all right. Okay, so I'd offer exhibit 2 as a full exhibit.
We accept that.
All right, and if we could just pull up exhibit 3 for Mr. Nemsek, it's very short. So, Ms. Lehman, if you could just identify this document.
This is an email from Brian Nemsick dated Tuesday, July 19th, 2022, where he states, Cynthia, I will not be able to make it today as an emergency has come up.
Okay, and to the last page of this document. Okay. Okay. Now, if you could just identify this document for the record, please.
This is a certificate of completion that certifies that on October 2nd, 2021, Brian Nemsick completed a continuing education class with Local 777.
And can you tell which curriculum year it pertains to?
Oh, it does say for the 2020-2021 curriculum year.
All right, great, thank you. I'll offer this exhibit as a full exhibit. I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Brian,
Yes.
did you want to have anything to say?
Yeah, I missed the voluntary signing things. Be happy to pay it. That's not an issue. The continuing education class, like I said, I haven't had my license since 2000. Last one was back in 2018-19. I'm not doing it no more. I've taken another position. I don't need my plumbing license for it. Nor do I plan on attending it to get it again. So, you know, I took one class that I wasn't really aware that we had to backdate it. So I took a plumbing education class that I thought was going to suffice the requirements.
Okay, thank you. Any board members' questions?
Yeah, Joe Paleka asking if he's not going to maintain his license, what do we have to do here? Does he still obligated for that fine?
Cynthia, that would be.
So if if the license was active at the time, which it was, the 2017 time period is what we're talking about. The license was active at the time, so the fine would still be applicable. If Mr. Nemsick doesn't want to maintain this license and wants to voluntarily surrender it, that's an option. But you can't voluntarily surrender while you have outstanding obligations. Those would have to be met first. So I'm not sure, where Mr. Nemsick wants to go with the license and going forward, but the license was active as of that CE timeframe, so the fine would still apply.
Okay. Any other questions?
If I
Do
was
you
to get
intend?
another-
Yeah.
Go ahead. If I plan on getting another plumbing license, it would be my P1, and I would take the courses and take a new test.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
You would need your one to be active. So I don't know what
Yes.
that doesn't work. You need to keep your license active and keep up to date on your continuing ed from here and going forward, and pay the fine if you intend to sit for a P1 and have the commensurate time accrued. So if you intend to be in the plumbing business here in Connecticut going forward, I would suggest you pay the fine and get caught up with your continuing education. Even if you're not practicing at the moment, things may change and you may decide you want to do this in the future. That's my thought.
Okay, no, I'm willing to listen. I mean, that's not the issue. So if I was to pay the $250 fine right now and get caught up on all my CEUs, I can get my license reinstated, basically.
No, at this point, the prayer for relief is what we have read into the record earlier. The time to have paid and signed the ABC would have been previously, but at this point, we brought this to a hearing with a prayer for relief that's very specific.
So
Melissa,
can I
did you
just
have-
ask for clarification on what
Do
exactly?
you understand the prayer for relief?
Melissa has a,
I don't think he does. Thank you, Aaron. So Cynthia, can you walk through what it would be right now so that as a summary, so that he understands fully what he owes, and moving forward, you have to keep your license current if you ever plan to do any plumbing again.
So this is for the board to determine. This is the department's request. This is our prayer. This is for the board to decide, what the actual fine will be. So it's three things. One, the respondent, Mr. Nemsek, pay a civil penalty within 30 days of the final decision and order in an amount not more than $1,000. So it's not $1,000, just a cap of $1,000, and that's in the board's discretion, right? Then the second thing would be that if the respondent fails to pay the civil penalty ordered, then the license would be suspended for 90 days. And then until the respondent pays a civil penalty. And the third thing would be, these are all in conjunction with each other. It's not either or. And then the third would be that Mr. Nemsek's license would be revoked if after 90 days he fails to pay the civil penalty determined by the board. And then after that, the respondent would have to appear before the board to request a reinstatement, as we saw earlier.
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Well, it's up to you, Mr. Keller, what you would like to do. I suggest you follow the prayer for relief and the board consider a penalty of $500 for him to move forward. What does the board think of that?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that too.
Original penalty, Cynthia, was $250.
The original, yes, the original.
So he missed his initial.
What's that?
I have a sound lag. Yeah, he missed his initial penalty period, but I think it's a failure to communicate and possibly understand this process. So we'll give him a chance to be in compliance, pay a $500 fine, follow the prayer for relief offered, and get caught up on your continuing ed.
Okay, so I have to,
If I had a P2, that's what I would do.
okay, so okay, no, that's fine. So I'm gonna pay $500, take the other course, two courses that I need. Correct? And then I can
Yep.
apply for reinstatement of my license, basically.
Correct.
Correct.
No,
Just so I understand, I'm not, that's just so I'm clear.
Right, and I just want to clarify that it's not a revocation that you would be, reinstating from, so that you wouldn't have to come back before the board if you comply with the prayer for relief, like I just read off. So if there were a $500 civil penalty, and to be clear, for Mr. Nemsick, the outstanding CEs include to keep him up to date, correct? Not just the 2017, it would be everything that's outstanding.
Right, which I already took I took them in 2021, so that was
Right.
already taken care of, correct?
Right, okay,
2023
right.
and my 2017 and 19.
Exactly right.
Correct. Okay, so it's 17, 19, and 23, which is just starting now.
Right, exactly, and a $500 civil penalty. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And that's within 30 days to be paid. And that's within 30 days of the written decision.
Yeah, obviously get all 3 classes done in 30 days.
Well, the civil penalty would have to be paid within 30 days of the decision. The board can extend that amount of time for the CEs if you'd like. You have that ability. If you thought that the 3 or 2 really outstanding CEs, if that's too short a time. But I will say that this decision isn't final until the commissioner signs off on it, which does take several weeks. So that you would have a lead time of several weeks to get in the CEs anyway.
Mr. Nemsek, you pay the penalty as soon as you can and follow
Yep.
up on your continuing ed. Go back to the guys that you went to before and explain
Yep.
your situation. And
Yes.
they'll craft a plan for you to get caught up on your continuing ed. And I would think that we could allow a year for him to get up on his continuing ed. Do we have to form that into a motion?
I have, now though that you can get continuing ed online for this year, he really needs to coordinate one class that he might have to sit for unless there's a provider that will actually give him the other class online also. So a year, I think, is kind of long.
Okay, what would the board think would be a fair amount of time to give Mr. Nemsek to get caught up? He may have a little bit of trouble getting that old credit. I don't know whether they offer that on demand up at the hall.
Okay, so
Pete,
They
you have
don't.
any
That's a
input
special
on that?
class. That's a special class.
Yeah, that's why I say you're gonna have to arrange for that. So I'm not, as long as he pays his fine and he's moving forward on correcting this, I don't see any harm in giving him some time if he's caught up on his current continuing ed. He understands he needs to take continuing ed.
Yeah, for this year, right. This one here is gonna be 2023 will be easy to take. The other 2 might be a little bit more difficult.
is it
I
another
think
2,
if
Cynthia?
you speak
I
to
thought he took one.
somebody who knows what's going on there.
I'm sorry, did someone
Yeah,
ask me a question?
Cynthia, this is Chip. He's already taken the 21, correct? That one he took. So he
Yes.
only has 2 more to take. Is that correct?
Right,
This year
right,
and the other one from
exactly.
17.
Right. Well, the 19 and the 17 are
Oh,
what's
19 and
outstanding.
17.
Right, because he took 21. And then he still has time to get current with this year's.
That's up to Mr. Nemsek how he wants to proceed with that. We're not gonna tell him how to take his continuing ed, but I think he's going to the right place to do it. And I think they can figure it out when they can schedule that for him and get it done.
Hey, Brian, this is Pete Alfieri. Give,
Hey, Pete.
next week, give Vinny a call over at the school next week and see,
Yep.
see when he can set those two classes up for you. All right?
All right.
I can't comment on that because I don't have his schedule. He's out of town
Yeah, I'll
right
give-
now, so.
Yeah, no problem. I'll give Vinny a
All right.
call.
You got his number, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Any other questions?
None for me.
Somebody want to, Cynthia? You all
No,
set?
no questions, no questions.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we give Mr. Nemsick the option of a prayer for relief, a $500 fine, and the ability to obtain his outstanding continued education for 2017 and 2019, and to be current with it for a time period not to exceed 1 year.
I'll second.
We have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. So Cynthia, you will send him that information so that he has that,
Yes.
it goes to the commissioner?
Yes, exactly, right. And like I said, the decisions that have to be signed off by the commissioner, like these, they do take a little while. So Mr. Nemsick, I would take advantage of that and, jump on those CEs so that by the time this comes out, you can submit your evidence. You would submit it to me, your completed certificates, and I'll send you an email also just to summarize today. And
Okay, great.
yeah, you can send it to me directly and we'll take care of it as quickly as possible. But I would get a jump on it so that, there's not too much lag.
Okay.
Thank you. And so, Jennifer, Mr. Covino hasn't appeared, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we can proceed in his absence. Since what I would have to do is establish that Mr. Covino received notice of today's hearing, and then the board can go ahead and make a decision based on the prayer for relief on his case. If that's okay with the board. It's been done many, many times with these cases, these CE cases that respondents don't appear on.
Sounds good, Cynthia.
That's good? Okay, and it'll be the last one of the day. All right, so Jennifer, if you could pull up Exhibit 1, please, for Mr. Covino. All right, great. So Ms. Lehman, I'd call you as my witness. If you could just please identify the date and who this is addressed to and what this document is. You're on mute.
This document is dated January 22nd, 2019. It's addressed to Christopher Covino, 60 Woodledge Road, Stamford, Connecticut, 06907, 1703. It's a continuing education warning letter for PLM 0204-853 P1.
Great, and if we could move down to the second document, Jennifer, please. And if you could identify this one, please, Ms. Lehman, for the record.
This is an assurance of voluntary compliance sent to, also sent to Christopher Covino, 60 Woodledge Road, Stamford, Connecticut, 06907, 1703.
And if we could scroll down to the next document. You can keep going. And this one, yes. If you could identify the date and what document this is to Mr. Covino.
It's dated 6/24/20 and it's a notice of compliance meeting.
Okay, and next document. I believe that would be the second notice of compliance meeting. No, I'm sorry, 1 second. Yes, you can keep going, keep going. And one more. one more page. All right, if you could identify the date and what this document is.
The date is 7/24/20, and it's a second notice of compliance meeting.
Okay, and on the last page, if we could identify this document, the date and who it came from and who it went to.
This is an email from Paula Annan from DCP, dated Tuesday, March 16th, 2021, and it's dated to, it's addressed to Mr. Covino. I don't know if you need his email address or not. That's on here,
Sure.
but it is addressed.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay.
As long as we know the date and what the document is.
The
And-
email states, do you need any more? Sorry.
No, yeah, if you could, after Mr. Covino, I have attached. So-
Yep. So it states, Mr. Covino, I have attached a notice and complaint and remote hearing instructions in the above caption matter. This case is about your non-compliance with the 2017 continuing education requirement. A certified copy of this letter was mailed today. If you are interested in settling this matter, please let me know by email.
All right, good. And for DCP 1 as a full exhibit.
Accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. And if we could just pull up DCP 2 for Mr. Covino, please. All right, Karen, if you could identify this document and the date who it was sent to.
The document stated January 11th, 2023, dated or addressed to Christopher Covino, 60 Woodledge Road, Stamford, Connecticut, 06907, 1703. And it states I've enclosed a notice of hearing and complaint regarding your failure to comply with the continuing education requirements for plumbers.
And if we can scroll down, we can keep going. And if we could stop right here, I'm sorry, can you go up one page? So that here, paragraph 9, the prayer for relief. You don't have to read the whole thing, Ms. Lehman, but if you could just summarize the penalties that the department has requested here.
It states that the respondent must pay a civil penalty within 30 days of the final decision and order in an amount not more than $1,000. And if the respondent fails to pay the civil penalty ordered in paragraph A above, the license shall be suspended for 90 days or until such time that the respondent pays the civil penalty. The respondent's license shall be revoked if by the end of the 90-day suspension period, he or she fails to pay the penalty.
All right, great. Thank you. And if we could scroll down to the next page, the next one down. And if you could just identify what this document is.
This is the Department of Consumer Protection online video hearing instructions for respondents and witnesses.
And would this have been sent out to Mr. Covino? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Would this have been sent out to Mr. Covino?
It's part of the package that was sent to him.
If we could scroll down to, sorry. The next document, which would be an email. We can keep going. Keep going. Right here. If you could just confirm the date that this was sent out to Mr. Covino.
It was sent on Monday, January 23rd, 2023.
And what does the email state?
Attached, please find the final notice of hearing and complaint in the plumbing board CE audit matter. These documents were also mailed to you via USPS certified and regular mail 2 weeks ago.
All right, great, thank you. And the next page. Keep going, keep going. Okay, here. If you could just please confirm what this email depicts, what it states.
It's a mail system delivery report, and it states that your message was successfully delivered to its final destination
On what date?
on January 23rd, 2023.
All right, great, thank you. And the next page. If you could identify what this is, Ms. Lehman, please.
It's the USPS tracking receipt.
And all right, and the final document would be right here. Okay, if you could just please identify this document for the date and when it was sent.
It is dated June 29th, 2022, sent to Christopher Cavino. And it states, I've enclosed a notice of hearing and complaint regarding your failure to comply with the continuing education requirements for plumbers.
Okay, great. I'd offer Exhibit 1 as a full exhibit.
Accepted, thank you.
All right. And if we could pull up Exhibit 2, please, from Mr. Covino.
I'm under Exhibit 2.
This is 2. All right, if we can pull up 1.
Oh, sure.
Sorry. And I'm sorry, so for the record, that was Exhibit 2. If we could go up to the first page here. I'm sorry, can you go back to Exhibit 2? To the first page there? Okay. Ms. Lehman, if you could just please identify this document, the date it was sent.
January 11th, 2023.
Okay, and it is
It states, I have enclosed a notice of hearing and complaint regarding your failure to comply with the continuing education requirements for plumbers.
all right, great, thank you. So I'd offer this as a full exhibit.
Accepted, thank
All
you.
right, great, thank you. Ms. Lehman, do you have any evidence that Mr. Covino has submitted a signed copy of the ABC that was offered to him beginning in 2019?
No,
Do you have any evidence of makeup CEs?
no.
And can you confirm whether Mr. Covino's license is currently active?
It is lapsed right now,
As of what date? Can you tell?
as of 10/31/22.
All right. So having established notice to Mr. Covino of today's hearing, I have no further questions for Ms. Lehman, and it's up to the board at this point whether to grant the prayer for relief.
Board, do we have any questions or comments? Any questions, comments?
I don't have any.
I'm all
Peter?
set. I'm all set.
Okay.
Aaron, you
Aaron,
need
Aaron, your mic's off.
I'm sorry.
That would help.
Yeah.
Make a motion that in the
Okay.
absence of Mr. Covino and his apparent unresponsiveness, he is in violation of continuing education for plumbers, and offer a prayer for relief, $1,000 fine. Subsequent unresponsiveness will result in his suspension, correct?
Right, the prayer for relief would be up to $1,000. You've stated 1,000. If he fails to pay
Within 90 days,
within 30 days,
30 days.
right, the payment is to be made in 30 days. If he fails to pay, he's suspended for 90 days or until such time that he makes a payment. And if he doesn't pay that, then he's revoked for until he comes back before the board to prove a statement after having complied with the decision.
And we can suspend a license that's not active?
Yes, exactly. It doesn't have to be active currently in order to be suspended or revoked.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, at
No.
this time, somebody want to make a motion? Or agree to the motion?
Should I amend my motion? Did I miss something?
No, I'm sorry. I forgot that that wasn't that was a motion. So we need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? No. Okay, so we'll proceed with that. Any other questions on today? So on this document that I have, there's a closing statement. So it says I review all testimony and documents that have been presented today in the hearing. Issue a written decision to each of the parties in the next 90 days. That's what the commissioner does. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Today's hearing is hereby adjourned, and I note the approximate time is 10:32. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you all.
thanks.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
later.